Jenny here. So last night I was on X quite late and I saw a doctor who had hundreds of thousands of followers, and she was posting that 2026 was the year everyone would hear about amyloids. And interestingly enough, she shared an interview I had done with Dr. Kevin McCann about 8 months ago, when in fact I had actually initially interviewed him in 2024, early 2024. So this story is essentially 2 years old when it was originally broken. I think there was at least 35,000 views across Health Alliance Australia's channels. So if you multiply that by all the people that clipped it, copied it, shared it, you're probably looking at hundreds of thousands of views, if not more. Now, so this story is well and truly not new. And the reason why I thought I'd pop on is to say that the reason I thought I'd pop on was also to share how I actually came to know about amyloidosis. And that was in May 2022. I was diagnosed with cardiac, actually it was cardiomyopathy, but they suspected cardiac amyloidosis. And I had never actually heard of the word before. So suddenly I did a little bit of research at that time, or quite a lot of research, and I actually just assumed it was amyloidosis. They wanted me to do some invasive testing with an MRI and inject myself with dye. I had a cardiologist in the hospital that wanted me to take a very toxic drug that was essentially new and I would regard as experimental, with side effects unknown. Well, actually they were known. Sudden death was one of them, and I said no to those. So when I was in hospital after an illness that spanned 3 weeks where I was bedridden, and I was perfectly healthy before this, and I was hit with what I would consider my gut going septic. And I had all sorts of neurological and gut issues. I felt like I was vomiting, going to the toilet lots, and just completely exhausted. And occasionally I would just, well, quite a lot of times during the day, I would just blank out. And that made it really, really difficult to actually get myself in a position where I needed help. Additionally to that, my heart rate was well over 100. So anyway, I'm not going to go into that story of what happened in those 3 weeks. I actually have written an article on it, which I will link below, of how I ended up in heart failure that time round. But I thought I'd share the reason why I ended up as a health advocate was because I needed actually to find answers as to how I was going to heal this time round. My heart function was measured in May 2022 at 15%. So those people who don't know, 15% is when your normal heart will pump out anywhere between 55 to 65% of the volume of blood in your left ventricle for every beat. My heart was only pumping out 15%. So I was at risk of sudden cardiac death. And of course, if my heart function dropped any further, the options were, well, very bleak, and I wouldn't accept a heart transplant, so no. So the thing is, I was fortunate in that I had actually had cardiomyopathy, recovered from it in 2011 to 2012. I was fully recovered, and I did a lot of research to get myself in a healthy place in order to have another baby. So I ended up having a baby without any doctors and child protection on top of me, because I was 43 when I gave birth to my 11th child, which was considered super high risk. No one wanted to support me, not even a holistic doctor. And he was worth everything to me to do that. So I had gone on a health journey already. I'd already known what I needed to do, and I used a book called Stop Inflammation Now by Dr. Richard Fleming, who was actually my first guest on Health Alliance Australia's podcast when I started doing podcasts in end of 2023. Now, had I waited for all these good doctors, and who are still experimenting on various options, had I waited for them to come up with any trials or any conclusions themselves, I'd probably not be here to talk to you today, nor would my heart function be normal. Well, I actually haven't gone back for official testing, but I live a full and active life, and the last time which I've measured, which was over a year ago, just before my dad passed away, it was very good. So the thing is, it's kind of annoying how every man and his dog jumps on board and actually don't talk to the patients that have healed from it. Whether it's COVID or the you-know-what or shedding, they need to actually start talking to people who've recovered and see what they've done. Because we actually hold the answers. Whereas a lot of these things that people are doing are experimental. They involve taking a lot of drugs and supplements that in the long term, are they really working or are they actually suppressing symptoms? I know a lot of people don't want to spend the time to do the research, so I've collected a number of voices out there that will bring a holistic view on what health actually is, and they are all featured in the videos on Health Alliance Australia's website. Now, I feel like I have a lot more confidence to speak up now because of Elizabeth Glass, who I recorded an interview with recently, which we are soon going to publish, where she had the testing done. Amyloids were found in her blood. She's unvaxxed. And she also had testing done on 2 others who have various health status, including vaxxed and unvaxxed. And they all come up positive with amyloids. Now, the reason why it's an important interview is because Elizabeth actually, for want of a better word, cured her lymphedema, which is meant to be a chronic disease with lifelong consequences. And doing very simple ancient methods, you would even call. And she basically followed a lot of things that I had learnt on my journey. I have been documenting my journey on uncensoredwisdom.com under the health tab. There's lots of different articles there that, but I am going to start doing little clips on what I've done, because I know everybody is short of time and they want quick answers, but unfortunately it does involve you understanding how your body works, because everybody's situation is slightly different, but the mechanisms for healing are all the same. So you kind of need to take that information and apply it to your own situation. Find people that will stand beside you and walk this journey with you. And finally, I'll just make a plug for my latest article, which is When Your Heroes Are Villains. There is a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of grifters, a lot of people taking advantage of vulnerable people. And this is on all sides of the political divide and the medical divide. So you'll find links to what I've discussed below in the description. Anyway, that's all for me for today. See ya.